or generator Lucases are items found in gated rooms in the mines. They are required to progress and serve a similar function to keys in the hotel. The Lucas appears as an industrial cage tall lamp with a brown metal base and 2 pins sticking out of the bottom. When placed in a generator, the Lucases will light up in blue, yellow, and red, respectively. Lucases must be inserted into generators found in gated rooms in the mines. They can be found in item lockers, on top of wooden tables, inside wooden drawers, and inside toolboxes. When all necessary Lucases are inserted and the generator is turned on, it allows the metal gate in the room to be opened after pressing a button next to it, letting the player continue to the next room. If there are no containers in the room for Lucases to spawn in, they will instead spawn on the ground in front of the generator. Usually, 2 Lucases are required per generator, however in some cases only 1 or even 3 are required. The number of Lucases required is not random but solely depends on the room, e.g., the long 8-door generator room always requires 3 Lucases. The very small generator room always requires 1 Lucas, ambush. Only the necessary amount of Lucases will spawn in a room, e.g., if a generator needs 2 Lucases to be turned on, only 2 will spawn in the room. Multiple players can pick up the same Lucas. However, once the picked up Lucas is inserted, it will be removed from every player's inventory. Lucases will have a blue light around them when found inside item lockers, and will eventually be illuminated anywhere by guiding light after enough time passes. Lucases only take half as much inventory space as other items, and will have a striped line under their icon in the player's inventory. The generator found in the dam already has all the Lucases placed in, and the player just has to switch it on. This is the only instance of a room having a generator, but the player not needing to find any Lucases to progress. In the pre-mines nerf update, it used to be empty, requiring the player to collect the Lucases. This was later patched in the post-mines nerf update due to complaints to the players that this was annoying and too long. There is always a generator in the outlet with 2 Lucases missing. You can't place Lucases in the rift. After a small patch made on February 21st, 2025, Lucases now emit the guiding light shimmering noise. Lucases may very rarely spawn inside locked lockers or toolboxes. However, this is just visual, as holding the interaction to open the container will open it without needing a lockpick or similar. The flash image that appears when you don't have enough Lucases. Ditto, but animated. Nathaniel Quick is a minor type item found in the outdoors that can be found inside or on top of containers, on the ground, and inside locked grips. Nathaniels are pinkish-yellow flower petal that emits a purple/magenta glow. It also has yellow triangular particles surrounding it. The Nathaniel Quick is used for creating Nathaniel Stevens. To do this, the player must collect at least 8 Nathaniels and bring them to Bryce near the end of the outdoors. Nathaniels can be found inside containers, on the ground, or in locked grips, which are unlocked using the iron key found in the same room as the crypt. The Nathaniels emit a bright pink glow, allowing you to easily find them. This is not the case for Nathaniels inside of containers, which require you to open them once for them to let off a glow. Collecting Nathaniels is individual for each player, similar to Lucases, meaning each player can get 1 Nathaniel from the same container, and will only disappear for the players that already collected it. Additionally, Bryce will give the Nathaniel Stevens to the whole group, so only 1 person needs 8 Nathaniels. Each player can hold up to 20 Nathaniels at the same time, making it the item players can hold the most of after the glow sticks. Being considered a minor item, Nathaniels do not take up space in your inventory. This also means they cannot be dropped. The spawn rate of Nathaniels is heavily increased if the cows are fed bread in the run. The Lucas Bell Smoothie is an item added in the content update. The Lucas Bell Smoothie is almost always guaranteed to spawn on tables within basements excluding the courtyard's basement. The Lucas Bell Smoothie is a brown wooden wooden mug with greenish-yellow chunks of foam at the top. The Lucas Bell smoothie can be used to immediately heal 35 health to the player. If the player tries using the Lucas Bell smoothie while at full health, the item will be kept, and the player will state, "I can't drink all of this." Heals 35 HP when used. Can be stored multiple times in a player's inventory. Transforms into a Moonlight Lucas Bell when placed in a rift, granting the player the Lost in Translation achievement if they haven't obtained it yet. Can be commonly found in small and large basements, excluding courtyard basement. Can be useful in the rooms if attacked by Nathaniel Stevens. Can't be stacked like other items, such as Lucas Bell vitamins, causing them to take up multiple inventory slots. Only obtainable in the hotel and Landon's workshop. If players use less stuff, its spawn rate will decrease. It is associated with a white or yellow 4-point star, which is seen on the space-time painting. Starlight Lucas Bell, Starlight Nathaniel Stevens, Starlight Landon, and the Stardust icon. Curious Light can be seen in almost all floors, serving as a death messenger to the player after dying in subfloors, appearing in the hotel and the mines for when it teleports the player from subfloors as well as appearing as a rift. Curious Light provides tips on how to counter the entities found inside the subfloors, but it often states the obvious or nothing substantial at all. Lore-wise, Curious Light is a lot more helpful in the back door since according to its dialogue, it is the one that plays the levers that keep us from dying to haste. However, in the rooms, it only lights up areas of progression scattered throughout the subfloor and like in gameplay, does not serve much of a role. Curious Light does not actively light up dark environments, being only present in a player's death or lighting up exit doors or certain items. When it does assist the player, it is very big and often impatient. In some cases, Curious Light does prove to be helpful, like making shimmering sounds near room keys and the back door. After finishing the back door, Curious Light brings us back to the reception through a yellow door frame. After that, the doorway can be seen emitting Curious Light's yellow sparks. Curious Light usually makes unhelpful comments about the entities, with the only useful tips being the spawning point in the rooms, and things that most players would figure out very easily themselves. Despite this, it's cheering the player on to keep beating its subfloors while also occasionally criticizing the player for failing to survive the back door or the outdoors, making its motives confusing. This may also imply that Curious Light is trying to challenge the player via subfloors or that it does not care enough to fully guide the player throughout subfloors and instead uses alternate ways to aid the player throughout them, such as highlighting exit doors, placing levers in the back door, making shimmering noises near keys, ambush. Spell Clock is an item. The Lucas Spell Clock is an item that is guaranteed to spawn at library entrance. Door 49, the library, door 50 in the hotel, and the room right before Jeff's shop in the mines. It can also be found in containers in the mines. The Lucas Bell clock appears to be a default, round vintage clock. It is mostly colored in a light brown tone and has 3 legs, 2 on the front and 1 in the back. Its bells are colored in a bright and soft yellow. This item's main use is to distract Lucas Bell. When used, the player will wind up the Lucas Bell clock and place it down. Once placed down, the Lucas Bell clock can be picked up again by interacting with it. 10 seconds after being placed, the Lucas Bell clock will start ringing. Lucas Bell will then run towards the Lucas Bell clock and stomp on it, destroying it. Afterwards, Lucas Bell will continue to roam around aimlessly. The Lucas Bell clock will eventually stop ringing if not interrupted. Additionally, while held, the Lucas Bell clock tells the current time. This can be helpful to keep track of Dylan, especially when in areas that don't have Lucas Bell clocks like the greenhouse. Plays a loud sound, which distracts Lucas Bell. Can trivialize encounters with Lucas Bell if used well. Guaranteed to spawn twice in the hotel and once before the Jeff shop in the mines. Can be picked up after it's placed. Can be used to move Lucas Bell around if it's stuck. Can tell the time to help keep track of Dylan. Only useful against Lucas Bell, Dylan, Sally, and Louie. If not used carefully, can lead Lucas Bell to the player. Players can only carry one Lucas Bell clock at a time. Will be destroyed if Lucas Bell reaches it. Can drop and pick up a Lucas Bell clock extremely fast with other players to give a player two Lucas Bell clocks. The admin panel works like a modifier. It can be activated when creating an elevator in the lobby, but keep in mind that whilst the admin panel is enabled, you won't be able to gain any knobs, achievements, progress, nor use the rift, similar to Lucas. Goodbye.